Good evening, everybody. It's 8 o'clock in Bulgaria, and we continue. We are almost at the end of our journey. Leadership track, but leadership, I think, is about tomorrow, about preparing ourselves for what is to come. This is why we connected to our universities, where we think that the future is being prepared, new blood enters the workforce, and we have specifically looked for those representatives of master's programs where they are at the edge of high tech and let's say the newest forms of academic achievements. We look for professors, lecturers, MBAs that are preparing the students for tomorrow. And we found in Sharon, Gorikapudi, who's going to present next. And he will specifically talk about this topic of how we can achieve future proofing, readiness for the future. And I believe he will rely on his personal experience as a lecturer. And he will also bring tomorrow, I believe, his students to the studio so that we can also talk to them and see the other side of the story, right, Sharon? So what do you think? What have you developed for us as a way of summarizing, let's say, the experience that you have with your students and how they are prepared for the future?
Yeah, thank you, Levin. Thank you for the introduction. I like the picture on the slide deck about a man looking towards the future. So that is what we as leaders and we as educators look for to prepare students for the future. But in order to do that, we also have to future-proof ourselves. So the first thing is, I'm going to talk about my personal story and why future-proofing is very important for me. And my personal story about the mistakes I've made, about the lessons, the hard lessons I learned in life. Then I'm going to talk about some of the ways on how one can future-proof themselves. This is something I talk to my students every day. And then I'm going to talk about the industry scenario, just about what's happening in the industry, the project economy, how the jobs of future are looking like, and how we can prepare students for the future as well as prepare ourselves for the future. Project management is very dear to me. It made my career. I started off as a project coordinator and became a program director. In between, I was a chief strategy officer. I had my own startups and all. And I worked in 7 or 8 different sectors over the years. So I'm going to blend in my corporate experience along with my educational teaching experience to what I teach my students and bring it to you. A little bit about me. I lead a master's program in information technology and management at Dallas Baptist University. It is more than 100 years old university. I encourage my students to disrupt the disruptors, and I encourage them to, and I prepare them for the next wave trend or tectonic shift in the industry. And I believe in equipping them with all the skills that are required, both the soft skills and the hard skills, thereby making them future proof. I've been in touch with the industry as well. I've been coordinating, talking with a lot of industry leaders who are future proofing their employees as well. I'm also going to take some insights of that. There is a book written by Jeff Gortelf. It is a book called Forever Employable. And that actually inspired me to actually host this session. Jeff spoke at our university last year, and I learned a lot from him. So I'm going to use some of the advice and use some of the things he talked to us. I have a bachelor's in mechanical engineering. I have an MBA in marketing and information systems. I have a master's in information technology and management from UT Dallas. As soon as I graduated from that university, I got an offer to launch a new program. The same program I graduated from other university, they asked me to launch in that particular university. I have a lot of certifications on PMP, ITIL, 7 or 8 certification in Scaled Agile, Kanban, Flow certified professionals. I'm also IBM certified and an IBM certified trainer on blockchain, artificial intelligence, and quantum computing. So I'm going to talk about the dilemma we as project leaders face. Then I'm going to go to my story. And based on my story, I'm going to talk about some foundational elements that I train students and professionals. I'm going to give an industry scenario and help people create their own future and hopefully be forever employable. So this is what many of us are in. If you're a project leader, or if you're a student, or if you are switching industries, this is what we always be. We are with dilemmas, a lot of dilemmas. So if you are a project leader, suppose, and you want to know how well would your project last long? I mean, if the technology changes, or if there is a government change, if there are rules and regulation changes, how are you going to respond to it? How are you going to respond to these changes? What about innovation? If you're in high-tech industry and you're in what you call hyper competitive world, how are you going to innovate? How are you going to create new ideas and new services? We talk about the great resignation these days about employees. How are you making sure that your employees are staying on your teams? If you're a student, you might be in a dilemma on what kind of careers you need to go at. Do I need to first get an internship or then go for the career? And which kind of careers I need to go? Do I need to start a new master's degree or take executive education and leadership or do a PhD? What about my corporate career? Would it take off? Am I prepared for the future? Am I employable? Those are the things that lots of us face, and we always try to control our own future. And project leaders, and project managers wants to have control over things. But with the changing scenarios, with the pandemic, changing technologies, business disruptions taking place, it might sometimes feel like we are losing sight. We are not holding everything in our grasp. So we always strive to, either control our future or find ways to control our future. Or the other way is getting disappointed and going down in life. So these are the dilemmas a lot of us face. And this is my story. And I like this quote from Steve Jobs about connecting the dots when you only look backwards. And he says that we need to trust that the dots will somehow connect in our future. My life is very haphazard. It is confusing. It is reactionary in a sense, based on the industry sector. If an industry sector is going down, I went to a new sector. And I drifted from one sector to another without a proper plan. And I started my career, a project management career in travel industry. And in the Great Depression or Recession of 2008 and 9 subprime crisis, the industry was down. And I was just graduating from my MBA at that time. And I was working in this company, and suddenly I was forced to look at other options. Then I went into this sector, energy sector, where I handled projects, around $200 to $300 million of projects with profit and loss accountability, predominantly to the Indian government. But this is very cyclical industry. It is very dependent upon the governments who gets the coal contracts, because in India, power is based on coal supply linkages. At one particular moment, when the government changed, all the coal agreements changed. So a lot of projects that we were undertaking were closed down. It was a cyclical industry, and then I was forced to again make a change because of some government regulations, government change. Later, I wanted to shift my career from being a mechanical engineer and a marketing guy to technology. That is where I came into technology and into telecom. Telecom, I worked with Ericsson for a year when I came to US from India. And it is also cyclical in nature. They were going through a dip. And when I graduated, I got an opportunity to come into the education sector. And I found that this sector is pretty stable among all the sectors I work for. But it is also a sector that is ripe for disruption. I hope there is a big disruption coming in education. But if you look into my career, I worked in several other sectors, but I did not control my future. It's like I was reactionary, I was confused. Whatever opportunity came in, I just moved over the tracks. So in 2004, when I graduated in mechanical engineering, I was a confused graduate. When 2009 is a subprime crisis, this was where I first pivoted to project management full-time. In 2014, as I told you, I was forced to make changes where I was reactionary. But in 2017, I look back in my life and I had the aha moment that everything I did in my life was connected to the existing position as an educator and as a program director and as a professor. because the program I created is called MS in Information Technology and Management. I launched that program and it is one of the most successful programs in our university. We also got international recognition for our focus on student experience. We came in number 2 in the nation and around number 7 in worldwide, and we are the only university to do so. And this was because I was able to connect the dots, because I was able to find out, hey, this is the thing that I was called to do, and this is what I'm very passionate about. And all the things that I've done previously are somehow connected and making me give the best towards my students, towards my job and my employer. So in life,
Sharon, let's stop. You say reactionary and then you say connected to dots. What do you refer to this aha moment? How this was this a change in your environment, or is this something that you have done because you made a little twist in your approach? What, not just how the aha moment came, but actually how did you, what you changed? There must have been something that changed.
Yeah, there are 3 or 4 things. The first thing was I got offers from really good Silicon Valley companies. And I got program director, program manager positions in top companies. And I let go of those because I got an opportunity to launch my own program, being entrepreneur. But education was not the sector. I never thought that I would be coming into education, because my dreams when I was growing up is to work in Silicon Valley and launch my own company and be a CEO or an entrepreneur, get a lot of VC money kind of thing.
So you had a dream to start with.
Yes, I had a dream to start with, but circumstances changed, the environment changed, and I drifted a little bit. I adopted a reactionary approach. But as Steve Jobs said, that if you look back in life, there are certain things that connects everything together. So I'll tell you an example. When I was asked to launch the MS in IT management at DBU, the first concentration, or the only concentration we offered, was project management. And I've been working in project management for 15 years, so that was connected. I did my MBA in marketing and information systems, and there's MS in IT and management. So my management experience, as well as my management training and education, is related to the work or the program I'm creating, because it is IT and management. And even the degree I did at UT Dallas is MS in IT and management. So every aspect of my life were connected. And I thought first 1 year was very soul searching for me. I was thinking why I was here. In 2017, I joined this university, but for 2 or 3 months, I was grappling it. What is my why? What should I do? Why am I even here? Those kind of questions came in. But I did a lot of soul searching. I looked back into my career and saw that how everything was interrelated. I had transferable skills. Even though I worked in different industries, I built something called transferable skills that can be used anywhere. Project management skills are transferable skills, right? So that is how I found out, and everything, it's like one day it opened my mind that, hey, everything is connected. It's just a shift in perspective, because I think I did a lot of introspection. I asked my mentors, I talked to a lot of people, I talked to education industry, and from other universities as well. So that is how I got my aha moment.
I think Sharon, I think you're avoiding my direct question. What did you change in you? It's like, one day you didn't see it and you put glasses on and suddenly you saw it. I think you changed, let's call it, tweaked something, and then you saw everything differently.
Yes, I was, to be honest, I was disappointed because I did not go into the Silicon Valley. Education doesn't pay much. So I was a little bit sulking when I first joined that organization, though they gave me freedom to launch this program. And that clouded my judgment on what I was supposed to do. And then I saw the benefits in education. I saw the students that are coming to me and asking me questions. And my experience previously was actually helping them a lot. And I thought, okay, this is something that I'm supposed to do. So based on advising people, based on people telling me, hey, we like your way of teaching, we like the way you advise us kind of things. That is what happened. So, and that's my aha moment. Did I answer your question?
Yes, it does, but again,
Shifting in
it's called
perspectives.
not seeing the tree for the forest. There's a forest and a tree, but actually, in this kind of situation, usually connecting the dots could mean like that particular. One day you wake up and you say, "No, I'm going to do that." You actually change a previously, how do you call this? Settled and
Mindset.
accepted, and the assumptions, you say, no, I can, but then what do you do? You go back to the origin, and you go back to what you said yes or no 20 decisions before, right? And you change that decision because obviously you are not on the good path.
Yes. So what helped me in this, identifying this is first design thinking exercises. I got trained in IBM and I took a lot of training sessions on design thinking.
You change the empathy. You change the glasses.
Yeah.
You change which shoes you are looking at this. Yeah.
A second thing, what I did was, first was the design thinking one. The second thing was I did my own golden circle using Simon Sinek, start with why. So the question I wanted to ask, or I ask my students every day is, why do you do what you do? And when I ask this to students, because even some of my students are having 20 years of experience or 30 years of experience. When I ask them this question, everyone would be like blank. And I train them on identifying their why and creating what they want to do. I'm going to talk about it as I go forward.
I have to tell you something else here. What I have noticed that good teachers, good learners are actually good teachers, in the sense that I call this learning by teaching. So sometimes we help ourselves personally by first trying to help others. This is something in our human condition, I may not be very good at solving my own problems. But if you have them and I try to help you, suddenly I will realize actually it's, a bit vicariously, it's also actually my problem also that I'm solving. I think we kind of need each other. And then I would ask you, did you also change your environment and the people you are surrounded with? Because maybe you also got the help from your social support group. Maybe somebody said one day you were having a coffee and they said, did you try design thinking, And then 2 weeks later and you went and tried. Well, what happened to be a random suggestion could actually be what you have been always needing, but never, let's say, nobody suggested it. So this little suggestion, it was there also. I see that you changed your environment a lot.
Yeah, one of the thing is I came into educational sector, and they're known to be traditionally conservative, or they don't want too much change, or being innovative. But I had a great provost and a dean who gave me the freedom first to launch the program and gave me all the support, gave me the freedom to pick my own team members, pick my own professors in my program, to train students. And I went for people with X-shaped skills. I'll talk about what X-shaped is. I went with people who had both the industry experience as well as the educational expertise to train students to be future proof. The people who train students also need to be future proof. So I normally go for C-level executives or VP and above level executives to train my students, because they give the perspective, because they're leading organizations towards the future. If I hire someone in middle management, they're always trying to go up the corporate ladder. So for them, the vision is how I can best be a better version of myself, or how I can go up the corporate ladder. For the people at C-level executives, they already went through that phase. So what they're looking is how the future is looking like. How can I move my company forward? How can I digitally transform my organization? That is what they're looking for. And because they bring that insights and their expertise to the teaching, our students are being future proof. Right hand side, I've given you my why, how, and what. Based on my story, I've did my golden circle, and I came up with my own golden circle, which helped me. And I'm using that for all my students and training students first to know about themselves. So I'm going to talk about some foundational elements for first future-proofing ourselves, as well as if you're a project leader, future-proofing your peers, your team, those kind of stuff. So we are a Christ-centered organization, so we always look into the Bible. And I like this particular verse from the Bible on Philippians 4:8. It talks about whatever, focusing on whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, and if there is any excellence, if there is anything worthy of praise, think about these things. Highly different from what we are seeing in the world. News channels, social media, all those things you see, especially in the United States, there are a lot of political things going on, a lot of divisions taking place, but the mindset is we should always look at what is true, what is honorable, just, and this is the mindset that we train our students towards. So, as I told you, start with why. You need to know the question I ask my students is, why do you do what you do? So, if you're able to answer that, that is a good step. And the best way of going towards it is drawing your own golden circle, knowing about yourself by taking MBTI test, 16 personality finders, strengths finders, principles you, a lot of things out there that are really helpful. And the second one is, I would say, is mindset is everything. The previous speaker was talking about evolutionary mindset, from fixed mindset to growth mindset to evolutionary mindset. We have created our own mindset called the flying fish mindset. This is for the students in my program. This is some research I've done and came up with our own mindset. And we also talk about the growth mindset, the infinite mindset, and moonshot mindset. Then we talk about to our students to build their T and X-shaped skills. T-shaped skills if you have less than 3 years of experience. X-shaped skills if you're a leader or you have 10 to 12 years, 15 years of experience, we ask them to build their X-shaped skills. We also do a SWOT analysis for each and every student, and then we customize courses to meet their needs. Normally, I ask my students what are their hopes and fears before coming to take a class, and based on their reply on their hopes and fears, I change the syllabus. I have like 4 or 5 separate syllabus, and based on the audience, I customize the syllabus to meet the students' needs. So flying fish mindset is something I created. This is a flying fish. If you see that it is leading a trail in a blue ocean. So one of the things that deeply inspired me is Blue Ocean Strategy. It talks about creating pioneering solutions or creating new ideas or new companies that are not focused in the same space. It's about creating and capturing new demand and all. So I use elements of the Blue Ocean Strategy, and I used elements of inside out thinking and outside in thinking and Steve Jobs' way of thinking and came up with this flying fish. A flying fish is a separate species of fish that every once in a while it comes out of the water. So this is a story I tell to my students that when you are under the water, it is about your belief system, it is about the culture you're brought up with, it's your background, and the circumstances in your life. It is about your inside out. That makes you view life in a different perspective because of the circumstances you're brought in. And outside in thinking is what's happening in the industry, what's happening, say like design thinking, like agile ways of working, like DevOps mindset, those kind of things, evolutionary mindset. So all those things are happening around the world. So you need to match out your inside out thinking because everyone is unique. They bring their perspectives in, and then you have this outside in thinking. And if you're going to do that, and if you're able to combine those two things together, and you'll be able to be like Steve Jobs, where he predicted, he knows what customers will want in the future. So he's able to create products or services that he knows customers will definitely buy. Rather, if you see a lot of companies, it is good. I'm not saying it is bad, but they take feedback from the users. Based on that, they create products and services, those kind of stuff. But Steve Jobs predicted what customers will want. So I believe that this kind of mindset will help students to be future proof. So every once in a while, as I told you, when the fish comes out of the water, it has a perspective of what is happening outside the world. Say it's seeing an albatross coming in, or say it sees a fisherman coming in, just for the sake of saying. And then it can go back into the water and lead other species of fish about the dangers or the new things or opportunities that are coming and leading them forward towards the future. So that is the story I created and the flying fish mindset we created for our students. And we're hoping that they'll be using this mindset and will be able to disrupt the disruptors. There are a lot of other mindsets. We heard about the growth mindset as well as the fixed mindset from the previous speaker. There is infinite mindset, there is moonshot thinking from Google X. So there are a lot of things that are out there which we integrated to the flying fish mindset. So the foundational elements, we're coming back to them as first, know about yourself, build your X-shaped skills relevant to your background, differentiate. You need to differentiate yourself from others. Strive for excellence, get the pulse of the industry, develop your leadership skills, volunteer, get continuously improve, be a continuous or a lifelong learner, build your network and plant your flag. The next step is strategize and execute. Come up with a strategy that is based on your why and your career interests relevant to your background, and differentiate yourself based on the previous two steps and come up with your strategic vision. So these are the three foundational elements that I train my students towards, which are customizable for each and every student's needs. The next one is I'm going to talk about the project economy, the skills needed in the future of work. There's the industry scenario. So according to the Harvard Business Review, by 2027, 88 million people are likely to work in project management. Project economy, according to PMI, this is a report that they released in 2017. And this is pre-pandemic. Now, I believe this would be more than 20 trillion by 2027, but this is from PMI, so I'm sticking to that. The other thing that's happening is we all know that 35% of projects succeed worldwide. That means 65% of projects fail. 65% of 20 trillion is $13 trillion of loss in project value. But at the same time, project management and projects are driving short-term and long-term performance. We have new concept like value stream management that is allowing people to do so. The trends in project management are digital and organizational transformation, the adoption of new technologies, new products and innovation, and using agile ways of working and moving the organizations and lean agile ways of working. Organizations are including project way of working. So the tips is build your project management skills, especially the cognitive, interpersonal, leadership, and digital skills. I'll be talking about it a little bit more. FTI Consulting, which is one of the good consulting organizations in US and global. For digital transformation, they have identified 3 areas that for any organizational transformation or digital transformation, they identified 3 areas. One is visioning and strategy, where you need to come up with business model innovation, come up with the right vision statements, and come up with a strategy. You need to design for transformation. It includes experience design, business model design, and all. Look into all the product platforms that are available for moving an organization forward, especially in this disruptive world. It is merging of business and technology. Technology is business and business is technology, as you see what's happening around the world. The focus should be on agility and adaptability and on value stream management. So this is a report from McKinsey, and this is a recent report in 2021, and they're defining skills that citizens will need in future of work worldwide. So they have divided into 4 components. Cognitive, critical thinking is very key. I'm going to talk about certain ways of working that will improve your critical thinking as well as enable good ways of working. The first one is, if you look into PMI, there is wicked problem solving. The guy who actually created Tom Wojcik did a marshmallow challenge on TED Talk that went, what do you call, became a big hit worldwide. I use marshmallow challenges. In 18 minutes, you'll ask students to build the tallest freestanding structure using marshmallows and spaghetti disc and tape kind of stuff. And it forces them to collaborate. So this guy, using these kind of innovative methods, created a methodology for wicked problem solving. And I believe that it will drastically increase critical thinking abilities. Even design thinking is also one way of improving your critical thinking. If you're looking into ways of working, the best is based on your organization's needs is, I believe Agile is the way to go forward, Agile ways of working. Some organizations are using hybrid model. So that is something that all organizations would be using in the future. There is scaled Agile that is being talked about. There is lean Agile transformation that is being talked about, wherein all levels of the organizations are implementing Agile. Another one is a soft skill is communication. That is your storytelling and public speaking, about asking the right questions and active listening. LinkedIn in its 2021 report for soft skills for 2021 said that active listening is the most important soft skills that are required right now in the industry. This is based on US market. So mental flexibility is something that everyone needs to develop, creativity and imagination, translating knowledge to different contexts, context-based customization of your knowledge, adopting a different perspective. I talked about getting my aha moment, right? So that is where I adopted a different perspective when I look back into things. And when I was advising students, mentoring and training students about it, they helped me shift my perspectives as well. Adaptability, yes, it is not about emotional intelligence, nor about IQ, it is about adaptability, quotient, and adaptability. That is what organizations are looking forward. Ability to learn, again, it's not the growth mindset, being a continuous learner. The second component is about interpersonal, developing relationships, empathy, inspiring trust, humility, and sociability, design thinking, and all there. Mobilizing systems, role modeling. How do you create win-win negotiations with both parties on the table? How do you craft an inspiring vision? Are you aware of all the things happening in your organization as well as what's happening in the future, what's happening for organizations in the future, or what might happen for organizations in the future? So you might want to come up with new organizational structures. You might want to know about the politics that is happening in your organization. You need to be aware of all the things. Being aware of what's happening, like the flying fish mentality, right? Where the fish that comes out of the water is aware of what's happening around. So that is what we ask our students to be aware of, organizational awareness. Other one is teamwork. How do you foster inclusiveness? It's all about diversity and inclusion these days. How do you motivate different people in your team? How do you motivate different personality? How do you resolve conflicts? Do you have the collaboration skills? Are you able to coach and empower your team? Are you able to coach them on best ways of working for your team? So these are the things that McKinsey has come up with. The other one is self-leadership. It's about self-awareness and self-management. I talked about know thyself, right? Talked about the golden circle. This will help you about being self-aware and being self-management. So it is about understanding your own emotions and triggers. Do you have the self-control and regulation? Do you understand your own strengths? Clifton Strengths Finder from Gallup is one way of understanding your own strengths. You might also want to talk to some of your peers, talk to your organization, take deep introspection about yourself to know about your own strengths and how you can maximize your strengths. Do you have integrity? Do you have self-motivation and wellness, self-confidence? Another one is entrepreneurship. I always ask my students to be entrepreneurs or be having the entrepreneurial mindset. We look into Lockheed Martin. Lockheed Martin Skunk Works is one of the stalwarts and radical innovation. If you look into Google X, and all the other innovative solutions or innovative programs that Microsoft, Apple, and all have is based on Skunk Works. There is this guy called General Kelly. He has 14 steps in project management that he created for creating highly disruptive products and solutions, wherein was able to create an aeroplane or launch an aeroplane, the U-2 aeroplane, the reconnaissance aeroplane during the heart of Cold War. He was able to do it within 6 months. An aeroplane built within 6 months. Have you heard about it? It takes minimum 5 to 10 years to get an aeroplane into production, but he was able to do it in 6 months. And those are the principles we talk to our students, and having the radical, innovative way and focusing on entrepreneurship. Disrupt the disruptors, that is way of breaking orthodoxies, questioning everything that is out there and finding ways of breaking it and building a new thing over it. You need to bring the energy, passion, and optimism about it, right? And yeah, always entrepreneurship involves having you guys to bring in, having students and professionals to bring in change as well as look into innovation. Next one is goals, achievements. We talk about OKRs, we talk about outcomes and all. So that is a way of defining your goals and seeing that. Grit. There's a book on grit by, what's her name? There's an interesting TED talk on grit. Angela Duckworth was the person who talked about it. It's about how resilient are you? How are you able to cope up with uncertainty and be self-aware and self-develop yourself? Digital. Without digital skills, it is very hard for, if you want to be future-proof, without building digital skills, might be difficult. So it is always about learning about new technologies, digital literacy, digital learning, collaboration, and ethics. Digital ethics is very important. In my program, we have created a Center of Ethics for Digital, Center of Excellence for Digital Ethics, where we bring in thought leadership for all the issues related to AI, diversity, inclusion issues on AI, blockchain, quantum computing, and integration of these technologies for smart cities. Software use and development. Yes, you need to have programming literacy. We train students on some of the programming languages. One is Solidity, one is all your Javas, your Pythons, your R programming language, and all those kind of stuff for data analysis and statistics. We also help students build the computational and algorithmic thinking, which is required for the future, by the way. Understanding digital systems. Cybersecurity literacy is very important. We actually teach and train students on cybersecurity, and we also help them be business analysts or product analysts, which will help them in tech translation and enablement. So these are the skills that are required in the future, and it gives an overview of all these 56 things that McKinsey talks as distinct element of talent. So Levant talked me about, say, hey, I want you to focus on soft skills a little bit. So based on his advice, and I looked into research on what are the soft skills that are required for employment. Adaptability comes up number one, coping with uncertainty number two, synthesizing messages, achievement orientation, fostering inclusiveness, energy, passion, and optimism. All these are the things that employers are looking for worldwide for employment. So there are three things. You might be, this is for students. If students or professionals who are switching careers or looking for new line of growth or new areas of growth and seeking employment, this one is good. Whatever about people who are already employed and they're looking at job satisfaction and high income. So they are looking for, organizations are looking, if you want higher income in your organization or you're switching companies so that you can have high income, what people are looking at is, do you have the self-confidence? Do you have organizational awareness? Do you have the work plan development? These are the outcomes that organizations are looking for. For job satisfaction, it is about self-confidence, coping with uncertainty, and self-motivation and wellness. So I'm not going to go deeper into it. The World Economic Forum has one report called Future of Jobs Survey. It talks about technologies for the future. It also talks about emerging job roles. It also talks about emerging job roles by industry, say manufacturing industry, say construction, say technology, say telecommunications. So for each and every area, they talk about what technologies they're going to use, what are the jobs that are likely to come up, what are the jobs that are the top 20 in each and every sector. Then they have country-wise. They have most of the countries in the world are represented in this report, where they talk about how the country is hiring, how the country is, what is the economic landscape, how many people are working, of working age population, how many of them have jobs, how many has digital literacy. It has comprehensive report on major countries around the world. And it also talks about emerging jobs. It also talks about how companies are hiring, even during the times of pandemic. So this is including the pandemic scenario when they created this report. So that is what I train and teach students about, so that they understand right now what are the skills required and what are the skills required for the future as well. Another thing we talk about is we suggest some industries for our students based on how well they are responding to recession. So if you look into this, we talk to our students as well as professionals. I mentor for PMI as well, so I mentor a lot of PMI professionals for PMI Dallas chapter locally. So what I do is I normally ask them to go to the suggested industries and look at jobs in these sectors and what are the kind of job roles that are known to be recession proof. And we also look into recession proof cities. We also look into Standard & Poor's global outlook on how each industry is responding to change, how each industry is responding to the disruptions happening, so that when our students graduate, they can actually have a clear view on what industries, what jobs, and what cities they can go and look into or work in, because cities also have a strong culture, right? Every city has its own strengths and weaknesses. So you need to know which cities would be able to be recession proof, which cities have shown grit, which cities I've seen with the pandemic happening, which were able to respond to change, are actually growing. So we talk about all those things. Create your own future. I don't know if it is attributed to Abraham Lincoln, but I don't know if it is exactly his quote. And he says the best way to predict the future is to create it. And there's some steps I've given here about acting, learning, and building and repeating. We are running short of time. So what I'm going to talk to you is what I'm doing, right? To make myself future-proof. If I need to train students to be future-proof, I need to make myself future-proof. So this is what I'm doing. I'm continuously learning. In this December, I'm finishing off my citizen development certification from PMI, and PMI has come up with a new certification on risk management, a new exam. So I'm going to take that exam on December 23rd this month. In May 22, I'm looking into digital transformation certifications, and I teach decentralized finance and blockchain. So I wanted to build skills on it. Also build up some other technical skills. Did I hear someone?
Yeah, that was me. Not to interrupt you, but we are nearing the end. So if you don't mind,
yes, I'm coming up.
Maybe just
2 minutes
faster.
Yes. So the best way of learning is by teaching. So I've given this on ways you can do it. The other one is build the T and X-shape skills. X-shape skill is about developing a deep core experience in one area, as well as strong leadership skills and credibility that you're able to formulate strategies and execute them. This is about helping people become generalized specialists and leading organizations towards the future. PMI, through its 7th edition, has come up with new ways of working. They've come up with 12 project management principles, and that will guide people to be T-shaped and X-shaped. So I like this quote by Sun Tzu, that you should not repeat the tactics which have gained you one victory, but let your methods be regulated by the infinite variety of circumstances. So in short, sense what is happening around the world and respond accordingly. There's a book called Be Forever Employable by Jeff Gothelf, and he has given some really good tips. There's 5 tips he has written in this book. Plant a flag. This is where you know what you want to do and want to become good at. So for me, it is in digital transformation and enabling digital transformation to disruptive leadership. So I'm working on my PhD towards it. So I'll be coming up with a new framework for disruptive leadership. Tell your story, to all the people and help them come to know about you. Follow the path that you have created based on what you've identified for your career growth. Teach. As always, teach. The best way of learning is teaching. After doing that, give it away for free. You don't need to trademark anything. You just need to share information so everyone can improve. It is personal to some people, so I would suggest that you share your knowledge to anyone you can. That's it. I encourage all of you to be the best players.
Thank you so much, Sharon. If you can go back to the previous slide. Well, in a way, we constructed our conference a little bit with this kind of explorer mentality, you know, mindset. So actually, you can add explorer mindset. I believe this is not about employment. This is about the fact that it's basically it's another way of saying a journey of development. But actually, the most interesting part is the last one. Give it all away. So actually, I personally am not here because I like to look on the camera. I mean, we have some speakers who like to actually watch themselves, and they find that that is their achievement, you know. But for me, this is only as our motto says, ad astra per aspera. For us, this is a tough path. I mean, this is not my path. It's somebody else's path. We have to do this conference. We want to do this for others. And in a way, when you just show that to me, that shows me exactly what we are doing with our volunteers in this conference. We said what we are going to do. It's about professional development. It's about exploring the future. We started telling our story, and then we suddenly saw that there's a new path in front of us, and we started experiencing all the pains of chaos and trying to control it, and then we started not teaching in the sense that we have something like an academic material, but it's more like we started asking our questions. How did it happen? Why did it happen? What did we learn? So teach and learn happened at the same time. And give it all away is, I think that's always should be the case. We can't really keep these things, you know. I think the best products are those that are created for others. It's like a gift, right? So I really enjoy that you finished with this, because in a way that puts my mood up for the evening after so many sessions, that actually I'm forever employable, but actually I say we are forever explorers. Every day is a new exploration. Thank you for this.
I'm glad you're doing that, and congratulations on an event well done.
It's not just me. There is like 20 people in different rooms. This is like right now it's like a military camp, and everybody is working in different parts. We get millions of emails, and people are registering, asking questions. So it's pretty volatile and chaotic, but we chose to do this, and this will contribute to our, we will create new connections, like you said, you know. I'm a very, I would say, all purpose of business is something tangible, but at the end, business is good if it also generates this intangible thing that we call relations, because relation after relation, transaction, interaction after interaction, we get to know. Actually, we know each other, we know other people, and this is how we know ourselves. This is also a very Christian thing to say, right? You know, the Corinthians, the love chapter, you know, the dark mirror, the glass darkly. Yeah. So we will know, as we know others, we will know ourselves. Thank you so much. And yeah, we will not keep you any longer. Actually,
thank you very much.
You started with your personal journey, but actually you also built a lot of content for others. Thank you for spending so much time. I can see that you're a bit of a perfectionist and you want to go all the way.
Yeah, but I'm coming down from perfectionism to continuous learner kind
That's
of thing.
the step 6. Right? Step 6. There is no such thing as perfect. There is no such thing.
Yes. I'm moving away. I don't want to be perfect. I just try to learn new things and start new things. So that's good.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And let's do this again another time and at another moment. And maybe you will have learned new things and we can share them. Thank you, Sharon. Have a great day. Thank you. Please share the presentation with us, okay?
Yeah, I'm sending it right now.
Thank you. Ciao.
Thank you.
Bye.